Welcome back, Shark Kings. It's that time of the month again where we're going to try to predict which games are going to leave this month from PS Plus Extra. We're going to be taking a look at the games that came to PS Plus Extra on October of 2024 and also October of 2023. So let's revisit the games that came to PlayStation Plus on October of 2024. These aren't necessarily the games that are leaving, but we got to go through them one by one and we will predict which ones after. So let's get started. We have Dead Island 2, 2 Point Campus, The Devil in Me, GRIS, Return to Monkey Island, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, Firefighting Simulator The Squad, Overpass 2, Tour de France 2023, and Ghost Recon Wildlands. And for PlayStation Premium, we got The Last Clockwinder, this is for VR, Dino Crisis, Siren, and R-Type Dimensions X. From October of 2023, a lot of these games have already left, so let's go through them anyways. Gotham Knights already left, Disco Elysium already left, highly recommended. Another Dark Picture anthology game, House of Ashes, which didn't leave. Alien Isolation left, highly recommended, probably the best game in this whole video. Dead Island Definitive Edition. Now this one did leave, spoiler warning. Outlast 2, Elite Dangerous, Far Changing Tides, Gungrave Gore is gone. Eldest Souls, this is probably the hardest short game ever. ROKI, A-Train Express, and for PlayStation Premium, we have Tekken 6, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, and Ape Escape Academy. So out of all these games, many have already left, especially from this year. IQ Final has gone, Gungrave Gore is Gungrave gone, Dead Island Definitive Edition is no longer there, Alien Isolation is definitely gone. Actually, I changed my mind. This is the best game on the list. Disco Elysium, I forgot about this one. And Gotham Knights. So those games are already gone. So that's the quick version explaining every game that could leave. If you enjoyed getting the relevant information in the beginning of the video and you're going to leave, just drop a like on your way out for the algo. For those sticking around, we're going to go through all these games and tell you what they're about if you don't know about them. We'll tell you if they're good, visiting their Metacritic rating, and also how short they are. Because there's no point starting a game that's going to leave in a month if it's going to take 100 hours. So stick around and we'll find out more. Dead Island 2 is a first-person action role-playing zombie sandbox. The game takes place in LA, which they call Hell A. The game's main goal is to be a fun, bloody sandbox for killing zombies in creative and brutal ways. The combat is mainly first-person melee, but there are guns in it as well. You can slice off limbs, smash skulls, and set zombies on fire. The game offers a variety of combats, from simple blades and blunt objects to more specialized and crafted weapons with elemental effects like fire, electricity, and even acid. You can find blueprints to mod and customize your weapon to suit your preferred playstyle. Instead of a traditional skill tree, the game uses a card-based system. You collect and equip skill cards to customize your character's abilities and perks. A huge part of the game's appeal is the co-op multiplayer mode, which allows up to 3 players to team up and take on the zombie hordes together. If you enjoy satisfying close quarters combat and a game with a great gore system, this is for you. It has a lot of dark humor, pop culture references, and a satirical take on Los Angeles. Dead Island 2 was released in April of 2023. It has a mixed Metascore of 73 and a user score of 7.2. Dead Island 2 takes 16 hours to beat the main story, 26 with the extra, and for the completionist, it will take up to 38 hours. Instead of going through the games chronologically, I'm just going to stick the games that I think you should play in the front. GRIS is a beautifully crafted 2D side-scrolling platform adventure game. It is an art game that stands out for its stunning hand-painted watercolor visuals and minimalist art style. The game follows a young girl who has lost her voice and finds herself in a colorless world. As she regains her ability, she slowly restores the color and the life around her, which means that when you start, the first level is all gray, aka GRIS. But by level 2, you get red, level 3, you get blue, and so on and so forth, and by later levels, you get full spectrum of colors. The game is widely understood to be an allegorical journey through the 5 stages of grief. The name itself, GRIS, means gray in Spanish, a nod to the protagonist and the world she starts in. It's not difficult or punishing. The jumping and movement mechanics are fluid and graceful, and it's designed to be meditative and stress-free. There is no combat, no enemies to fight, and no really way to die. Instead, the focus is on the exploration. As she regains her ability, she learns new traversal skills, such as turning into a heavy cube to smash through floors, or gliding through the air like a bird. It's not groundbreaking from a gameplay stance, but the most significant part of the game is definitely the aesthetics. The story is told entirely without dialogue or text, and yet it is an emotional game, so that's saying a lot. This game's similar to games like Journey and Inside and Spiritfarer. It's for players who seek a beautiful and relaxing experience. If you want to unwind with a game that feels more like an interactive painting or an animated short film, GRIS is the perfect choice for you. GRIS received a Metacritic score of 83, and users also thought it was great with an 8.1. Like I said, it is a really short game. You can rush through the main story in only 3.5 hours, but if you want to get the completionist run, it's 6.5 hours. A very short and beautiful game. While GRIS explored a beautiful allegorical inner landscape, the game Far Changing Tides takes a similarly quiet and emotional journey, but this time on a grander, more physical scale. Far is set in a post-apocalyptic flooded world. The game follows a young boy as he pilots a unique, customizable ship across the submerged ruins of his home in search of a new one. The game tells a quiet, wordless story again through its stunning visuals and a dynamic, reactive soundtrack. The gameplay is mainly a mix of side-scrolling platforming and vehicle management, which is new to this genre of atmospheric storytelling. You spend most of your time on and inside your large, distinctive vessel, which is a hybrid of a sailboat and a steam-powered land vehicle. Your primary goal is to keep your ship running and moving forward. This will involve a series of small tasks. You'll need to hoist and angle the sails to catch the wind, or if there is no wind, you'll have to shovel fuel into a furnace to power the steam engine. You'll also have to manage the engine's heat by spraying water on it if it gets too hot. As you progress, you find upgrades that add new functions to your ship, like a grappling hook for lifting cargo from the bottom of the ocean. It has a ton of environmental puzzles. These can range from simple tasks like just clearing debris to more complex puzzles that require you to manipulate objects in the environment to open a new route for your ship. Far Changing Tides got a Metacritic score of 73 with a user score of 6.9. We have to talk about it because it is, in fact, a short game with only 6 hours to beat the main and extra. And if you want to get the platinum, that's gonna be 9 hours. Pretty short game, not bad. Eldest Souls is the hardest short game I've ever played. It is a brutal pixel art boss rush action RPG. Unlike many Souls-like games, which feature expansive worlds to explore and a mix of large and small enemies and NPCs to talk to, Eldest Souls ignores everything in between and just focuses on the boss battles. It is called a boss rush game. The gameplay is very high stakes. It is a fast-paced dance of death that demands precision, quick reflexes, and an understanding of the boss's patterns. There is no filler in this game. There are no minor enemies or long dungeons to slog through. You just walk from one boss arena to the next, and each boss will take a very long time to beat, even though this is technically a short game. Just like other Souls games, you have to worry about your stamina bar, which makes this so much harder than it needs to be. You can't grind for levels or gear because there is no filler content. Your character progression is tied to defeating bosses. Each boss you defeat will grant you 1 skill point, which you can use to upgrade one of your 3 skill trees. Eldest Souls is not a game for the faint of heart. If you are looking at all these games like, oh, this is nice and relaxing, that's not what I pay money for PS Plus for. I want a challenge. This game is for you. This game makes you get good and does not offer a way to grind to make things easier. There is only one way, and that is pure skill. So if you've ever written off short games, I don't know why you're on this channel, but if you've ever written off short games because you think they're for kids or they're really easy and they're for noobs, this is the game to play for you. And if you're used to short games, I would say stay away from this because it will be very frustrating for you. Eldest Souls got a review of 76 but with only 14 critics and a user score of 6.4. The word that describes Eldest Souls best is painful. And technically it is a short game, can be beat 5 hours. That is a huge quote around can be beat. Completionist run is 14.5. People got really mad that I included this game in games you can beat in under 5 hours, but if we go further into the details of people playing this game, we can see that 69 people were able to beat it with an average time of 5 hours and 27 minutes. Some people were able to beat it in 3.5 hours and a leisurely pace of almost 9 hours. But I would say it's going to take you like triple that if you're not used to these kind of games. And that's not even talking about the completionist run, because the platinum in this is really hard. There's some hard trophies to get in here. Moving on. Return to Monkey Island is a modernized take on the classic point-and-click formula. While it forgoes the traditional verb grid of the original games, it maintains the core mechanics that fans love. You guide your character through various scenes, interacting with objects and characters to solve puzzles. The interface is streamlined with a contextual cursor that changes based on what you're hovering over. The heart of the game is witty and clever puzzles. You'll need to explore different locations, talk to a cast of eccentric characters, and find a variety of items to combine and use in creative ways. The game has a hint system that can be activated from a menu, which gradually gives you clues without outright spoiling the solution. A huge part of the game is the humorous dialogue. There's witty conversations and insults with both new and returning characters, with dialogue choices that often lead to funny and unexpected results. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but this game is made for fans of classic point-and-click adventure. If you grew up with games like Maniac Mansion or have an appreciation for games from LucasArts and Sierra era, this game is a must-play. If you like using your brain to figure out solutions and get invested in a story rather than remembering combat mechanics, you'll feel right at home. Return to Monkey Island has surprisingly the highest score out of all these games on this list. Bet you didn't see that coming, with the critic score according to 50 critics of 87 and 7.6 for users. On the PS5, it received an 85. As far as runtime goes, it takes about 10 hours to beat the main story if you ignore everything else, add another 2 hours if you do the extra stuff, and 17 hours for the completionist run. So ROKI is a modern adventure game based on Scandinavian folklore. It follows the story of a young girl who must journey into a mythical wilderness to find her younger brother after he's taken by a monster from a fairy tale. The game is very like brains not brawn, focusing on exploration and puzzle solving rather than combat. The core narrative is a heartfelt tale of family loss and overcoming inner fears, all set against a beautifully rendered snow-capped fantasy world. The game is designed to be accessible and non-violent. There is no combat and the puzzles are generally logical. There is a helpful hint system that can be activated to make interactive items glow so you don't get completely stuck. The game's art style is one of its most praised features. It features a unique 3D art style that looks and feels like a hand-drawn illustration or storybook. This aesthetic combined with a moving soundtrack creates a magical and emotional atmosphere. This game is very similar to GRIS that we just talked about earlier. It's for people looking for a quiet, contemplative experience with a powerful emotional story. The core loop is built around finding items and figuring out how to use them to progress. ROKI got a score of 76 with a user score of 7.7. It barely qualifies as a short game. I consider anything under 10 hours a short game, and it's on the threshold of that. 9.5 hours if you rush through the main story, or a completionist run for 12 hours. That's actually not bad for a platinum run. Those are the main games that I wanted to talk about. There's a few on here that I could talk about and could leave, but I tried to stick to the short games that I recommend playing. So there's Ghostbusters. I don't really recommend it. I'm not into simulator games. Overpass 2, I think had a bad rating. Yeah, no thanks. And Wildlands is a Ubisoft game. Ubisoft games tend not to leave. This 100% is going to leave because it's a VR game. We have lost many PlayStation Premium games. So I will say for certainty that the last Clockwinder is going to be on the last chance to play. And then the other game is the sim game, the 2 Point Campus, which is highly rated. And also these games, the Dark Picture Anthology games. So we have The Devil in Me from 2024. And from 2023, we have House of Ashes. These games are really fun to play, especially in cinematic mode or movie mode, where you get to choose your character and play up to 6 players. So whenever there's a change in character in the story, you just pass the controller to whoever in your little party at home wants to be that character. So there is a chance that these games might all leave, but they've been here for so long. There's so many Dark Picture Anthology games on the service. And because Dead Island Definitive Edition left already, with only a year contract, the Dead Island 2 is highly likely going to be leaving as well. And the last game I really want to talk about, but I don't want to, is Outlast 2. This is technically a short game. You can beat it in 7.5 hours or 14 hours for the platinum. I got through like 2 hours, but I got really bored of it. But maybe it's for you. I mean, this will be going in October, so maybe October is the time to play this game. Outlast 2 is one of these scary atmospheric games where you don't have a weapon and you're in like some dangerous hick town where everyone's all weird and all you have on yourself is a camera. And the camera has night vision, but you have to worry about your battery. It kind of reminded me of the Evil Within games, but with way less control. You're just avoiding everything constantly. It's a scary, gory, rednecky town, and all you're doing is staying away from every danger. You don't really fight anybody or engage with the enemies. It's a survival horror game, and it does it really well. It's just, I don't know, I just got bored of it real quick. It's this kind of game. You're constantly running and hiding, and the only thing you have is your camera. Like I said, the camera has night vision. You avoid people, and you get killed a lot. And you have to try again and find a way to escape the little small town or whatever you want to call it. The other big game potentially leaving is Elite Dangerous. Now, Elite Dangerous is one of the longest games on the entire service. I was not kidding around. Look at this, 117 hours just for the main story, if you want to call it that. And a platinum run, forget about it. It's going to take you a year, 677 hours. If you're going to invest that much time into a game, just buy it. Don't pay for a subscription service because all that progress will be gone if they choose to remove this game from the list. And the last game is A-Train Express, which I don't really want to talk about. So there we go. We got all these games that might be leaving. My personal picks would be to play GRIS. GRIS is really short, like one playthrough and you're already done the game. These games are fun, the Dark Picture Anthology, but they're not for everyone. It's very passive. You're just watching a movie and it's kind of like a choose your own adventure game. But the big one on the list that everyone's going to be talking about is probably Dead Island 2. This was a new game and a sequel that everyone was looking forward to for like 10 years. So even though it didn't do that good commercially or critically, it is a really fun game to play. So I hope you enjoyed the prediction series. Tune in a few weeks for the official list of games leaving PlayStation Plus. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and until next time, be a friend, and I'll see you again.